Welcome to this breakfast session for WiredSussex members. I'm Anna, Events and Marketing Coordinator here at WiredSussex. I'd like to thank you all for coming and also thank our sponsors, Plus Accounting, who have sponsored this series of sessions. Today we'll be joined by Alice Reeves, Director and Co-founder of The Joyful, who will be sharing how we can use Instagram for digital business. So let's get started. Over to you, Alice.
Let's get started. So we are The Joyful. If you haven't heard of us, we are brand and marketing experts for movers, shakers, and change makers. And that means we work with passionate, purpose-driven businesses that want to make a positive impact in the world through their brand and through their marketing. So what we'll cover today is a bit about optimizing and building your Instagram profile, how to use Instagram's core functionality, some tips for reaching your ideal customers, and for generating conversations that lead to more business. And this is crucial because conversations are the social element of social media. Without conversations, without starting conversations, without participating in conversations, it's just broadcast media, and that's not particularly engaging. So why use Instagram? If you are still a bit on the fence about using Instagram, you're not sure if it's the right thing for your business, and that's why you're here, I wanted to share some stats. So these stats are from Hootsuite from the last year. So currently 200 million Instagram users say they visit at least one business profile every single day. So people are following businesses, they want their content, they want to engage with them. 81% use Instagram to research products and services before they buy them or engage in them. Nearly 60% of people say that when they've seen a brand or a product featured in Instagram stories, and if you're like, oh, what stories? We'll come into that later. And 50% of people say that they have actually visited a website to make a purchase after seeing a product or service in stories. Now, a lot of people know Instagram for the grid and just uploading the kind of square images and square videos. So today we're going to talk about these other features like stories and, and why they're so important for a well-rounded Instagram strategy. Some really surprising stats, these last two, they surprised me, that over 36% of B2B decision makers are using Instagram to research new products and services. And in some other Hootsuite research, only 33% said they were using LinkedIn to do the same. So definitely worth having a presence there for businesses. And then 50% of Instagram users say that they actually become more interested in a brand after they see an ad for it on Instagram. Now, we're not going to go into ads today because that is a whole nother topic in itself, but I think these stats are really powerful in setting the scene for its importance. So Instagram, from a business perspective, it's not just that B2C place of people uploading, pictures of their latest outfits and their breakfasts. It's really being used in the B2B space for connecting with communities and conversations through hashtags, for sharing snippets of information in really visual, really easy to digest, simple formats. Content collaborations, we'll look at live videos later. That lends itself perfectly to collaborating with people who have a similar audience to you. And then brand building, so showcasing your people, your look and feel, your ethos. Instagram is incredibly powerful for that. So the first thing you want to do when you set your Instagram profile up is make sure that the channel is fully optimized, that you're using all of the features available to you in the best way. So first of all, you want to make sure that you choose an appropriate profile photo. If you're a freelancer, a professional headshot that's recognizable, that's in focus, or if you're a business, then a company logo. Make sure that you have the same profile picture across all of your channels. That just makes you easy to recognize and easy to find. You've got 150 characters to write a compelling bio. So you want to include in that bio, the most succinct version of what you do, like a 3-second pitch, like who you are, what you do, who you do it for. One of the biggest mistakes I see businesses making is putting generic hashtags in their bio. So like if we hashtagged marketing here, every time someone clicked that, they would move away from our profile into a whole bunch of content that's been tagged with marketing, potentially from our competitors. So you don't want hashtags in your bio. You don't need them. They don't increase the reach of your profile. They're just there for increasing the reach of your posts. The only time you want a hashtag in your bio is if you have a unique campaign hashtag that you are the only one using, that you want other people to come in and get involved in. And we'll talk more about hashtags later. Get some emojis in there. Instagram users absolutely love emojis. It adds color. It breaks up text. I normally recommend people have like a set of brand emojis that they say, you know, these are appropriate for us to use in our brand, in our updates, along with our other branding guidelines. What you can see here, these sort of buttons are story highlights. So we'll talk more about stories later, but when you upload a story, you can save it to a highlight, you can add a little cover, you can give it a name, and then people can flick through these. So the Joyful Team is like slides about each of our team members. Instagram TV is a way to flick through and browse all of the videos we have on IGTV. Awards is awards we've won that we've been nominated for. So these are like little showcases of your products, your services, your expertise, and your people. Create more opportunities for driving traffic to your key pages by setting up a link tree. So you get one link on Instagram in your bio. There are other sites like Linktree. I really like it because it's really, really simple and customizable. But you get your own unique URL. And then when people click through to your Linktree, they'll see a list of locations that they can go and click through to find out more about you. Really, really handy. And then if possible, use the same @name across all channels. Again, that just makes you easier to find. So we are the Joyful everywhere. Images. So we're moving on to content now. This is probably what Instagram is best known for, is this grid of square images. When it started, that's all there was. So some core tips for images is that if you do post landscape or portrait images, you want to make sure that when the grid crops it square, it doesn't cut off essential parts of the image. You want to make sure your images are really visually well constructed and they're on brand. They're not blurred. They're not pixelated. They're not dark. You know, I'm all about authenticity. We preach authenticity. But the fact is that Instagram is an inspirational platform. It's an aspirational platform. And the most successful brands do have these really, really good looking grids. You can write really, really long captions on Instagram with your photos. That can be a lot. So, you know, make sure that you break it up with line breaks, with emojis to improve readability. As with any other social media, images of people tend to be way more engaging than any other type of image. So make sure you've got people, you've got faces in all of your image. But, you know, variety is really good, particularly if you're a service-based business that's selling your expertise. You know, you probably are going to want to use Instagram to share bits of information. You know, we like to share motivational quotes. It's quite cliche, but they do perform really well. So, you know, mixing up the kind of the people and the graphics is a good idea. And then from an accessibility perspective, it is becoming increasingly more important to add alternative text or image descriptions to your images so they can be read by people with visual impairments. And when you upload an image, you will be prompted to add alt text to that now. Short videos under 60 seconds, you can upload in exactly the same way as an image. They crop square in the feed and you get the chance to select a thumbnail to display in the grid. Now, it's really important you do this because a lot of videos will just have a blank screen as the first frame. And then you just end up with loads of black or blank screens in your grid and it doesn't look very good. It's not a nice kind of look and feel for your brand. Subtitles. My God, so important for videos. As many as 80% of people scroll the Instagram feed without sound. So think about people, you know, sat in cafes, on public transport, scrolling their Instagram. They're not in a position to play sound. They will just, there's no subtitles, or if it can't, or if it's not kind of a graphical video that can be understood without sound. And then just a tip for videos that I always like to put in there. Use a tripod or something to secure your camera so you don't get that wobble if you're filming yourself, unless you're deliberately like on move giving a virtual tour with like a selfie stick or something. But you know, that's a really good tip, because that wobble can be quite off-putting and not look very professional. Now we're moving on to kind of the other features of Instagram outside of the main grid. So Instagram TV was the first one of those that they launched, because there was huge demand to add videos longer than 60 seconds. So when you upload from your phone to Instagram TV, videos can be 15 minutes long, or they can be up to 60 minutes when you upload from the web. Videos on IGTV are not square. You cannot upload square videos to Instagram TV. So they need to be vertical or landscape with a 16:9 or a 9:16 aspect ratio. When you upload something to Instagram TV, it doesn't just sit in the IGTV ether. You can select to share a preview to your profile grid, which gives a little 60-second trailer of the first minute of your video. So, you know, really think about the content you're putting in that first minute to encourage people to click continue watching when it's time to be redirected to IGTV. This really is the best tactic for gaining views on your IGTV videos, because they come up in the feed, they play like a 60-second video, and then once you've hooked people, they can click that continue watching button. When you upload from the web, you get the chance to add a thumbnail image to your videos. So this example is a thumbnail image. And I've put this red box on there to show that that's where you want the main content of your thumbnail. If you're posting it to the grid, you want that kind of all the content within that square, so that when the preview posts, it all kind of fits with your branding, and essential words don't get cut off. And again, add subtitles to your IGTV videos. They need to be played without sound too, or, you know, for people who are hard of hearing, subtitles are really important in making your content accessible. It does take time to add subtitles though. So, you know, there is an auto generate captions option, but this can be just a little bit hit and miss, especially if you have a thick accent. There are some quite funny errors that I've seen. Instagram Live. So again, this is quite similar to the other channels, but what I love about Instagram Live, and where I think it's just better than the other platforms, is it is so easy to invite people into your broadcast. You can broadcast up to 4 hours. I think that's excessive. I think, 30 minutes to 45 minutes is perfect. But you can bring people in. They literally just request to join, or you invite them to join and they accept. And then the two of you are in this like stacked screen. It doesn't disappear. You can save a replay of your live video to your Instagram TV. So that's always sat there with your other Instagram TV videos. Again, you can share a profile to your grid. What's really great about Instagram Live is your most engaged followers. So the people who've engaged with you recently will get an alert that you're live when they log into Instagram. It'll come up along the top, and there'll be a little live icon, so they can hop in. If they're scrolling their feed, there'll be a little pop-up that says you're going live. So, you want to kind of stay live for, I would say, at least 15 minutes to give people a chance to see that notification and then join you. Reels. Reels. The newest Instagram feature, which seems to just be putting fear into the hearts of so many of my clients at the moment. I really love Instagram Reels. And yes, I was as confused as everyone else when they started. The wonderful thing about working in social media is that, every couple of months or so, you have to completely relearn your job, which, keeps us on our toes. But Instagram Reels are essentially Instagram's reaction to seeing how popular TikTok was. And they are a way of sharing engaging, high energy, 15-second video clips. So you can cut multiple short clips together, or you can film them continuously. You can overlay with music or audio. Music or audio will be trending, so people will like make memes out of their reels. So, you know, you've got great chance of being discovered if you can find a clever way to use trending audio. And you can add text like you see here, which will appear and pop up at different points in your video. Now, you do need to spend a bit of time learning reels. They're not particularly intuitive. So, you know, I did what all good social media managers do. I went onto YouTube and I watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials. And but the best way to learn, as with all of these features, is just have fun, play, experiment, explore what other people are doing, try and do it for yourself. You know, you can save them as drafts to come back to, but to actually do it is the best way of learning. At the moment, because it's a new feature and it's so popular, reach tends to be higher on Reels than any other type of Instagram content. So not only will people find them through the Reels tab on your profile, which sits next to your IGTV and your grid, but they can also be posted as a preview to your grid. They appear in feeds that way, in the same way as IGTV, and they get found under what is called the Instagram Explore button. And if you're in your Instagram, that's an option along the bottom. I think it's a magnifying glass. And then that will give you a showcase of popular reels that Instagram thinks you'll be interested in, along with all the other types of content on Instagram. So this reel that I added just to my personal Instagram account, because I make my own jewelry, was around how to shine tarnished copper jewelry. And I just strung together these little step-by-step videos showing how to clean jewelry with tomato ketchup. And it had about 3,000 views within 24 hours, like one of my first ever reels. So the potential here for reach and views is really, really high. And almost all of my clients are saying that, reels are their highest performing content at the moment. So definitely a bandwagon to jump on for a service-based, digital business, which I know a lot of WiredSussex members are. For how-to content, for short explainer content, these can be really, really useful. And then finally, we have stories. So stories essentially are disappearing content viewable for 24 hours. So when you open Instagram, these are all of the kind of orangey pink buttons you see along the top with people's faces that you can click on and view the slideshow of stories. So essentially, I think of them like a slideshow, because you upload them and then people can just scroll through in the order that they're uploaded. They can either be images or videos of up to 15 seconds. You can create them live or you can pre-prepare them. And what that means is you can film any content or take photos directly within Instagram to kind of do it live, or you can pre-prepare them and make graphics and upload them later. Stories are really great if you want to make multiple posts in a day, because you don't want to spam your grid with loads of content. The algorithm's not going to like that because it looks quite spammy. So if you're attending an event or a conference, I love using stories to kind of, take photos of key speakers and share little quotes. So I get a little slideshow of all of the things that I've learned on that day, which is really useful to refer back to and share information with other people. Like IGTV, it's that 9:16 aspect ratio. Stories are always portrait. And what's great about stories is you can promote your other Instagram content through your stories as well. So you can share your posts, and like in this example, you can share IGTV uploads to your stories. So where you've got this box here, which was one of our Instagram TV videos, people can just click through from stories. We've got a little bit of spiel saying why people should click it. We've tagged all these people in the same way that we would in an image caption, and then people can just click through and watch the video. Again, I'm such an advocate of just having fun, experimenting, going and delving into all of the functionality that's there. Within stories, you've got funny filters, that's the sort of the Snapchat filters thing. You can make yourself into a cat if you're so desired. You can ask questions of people. You can ask people to vote on things. You can create polls. You can do quizzes. You can do countdowns. There is so much in there to explore and experiment with that you can find really, really interesting and innovative ways of using stories. The best way is to go and look at what other people are doing. You know, observe your own use of social media and what sparks your interest and what makes you engaged, and then apply that to your business social media. And then, like we said at the start, you can save these kind of evergreen stories as highlights that people can always access through your profile, that promote your brand values, your products, your services, and your key content. And now we're moving on to kind of reaching audiences, the best way to reach your audiences. So hashtags are absolutely vital for visibility as you grow your audience. You know, a lot of clients will say to me like, oh, well, this brand or another isn't using loads of hashtags. And, you know, my response is, well, you know, they've got about 5 million followers, so they don't need to. They've already got that reach. But when you're growing, so people can follow hashtags on Instagram. So in the same way that they follow accounts, which means content tagged with that hashtag will appear in their feed, even if they're not following that person. So, you know, you really want to look for the most popular hashtag. So I've used the marketing example here. I can see these are really, really big numbers, which means they're active, which means lots of people are using them. So you really want to be going for hashtags that have, you know, more than like 10,000 uses, as well as kind of maybe some niche ones that only have a few thousand as well. You know, have that balance. Don't go all for the big numbers. Mix them up with some more kind of niche ones that have smaller numbers. And when you're doing your hashtag research, you literally just type it into the search box on Instagram and it will tell you the numbers, like you can see in the screenshot here. I would say aim to use 11 to 15 hashtags per post. That seems to be the consensus on it's the kind of golden number. You can't add more than 30, or you can, but Instagram doesn't read them. And it's best practice to put them under your caption. So write out your caption and then add your hashtags underneath. Otherwise, I find it quite difficult to read captions that are all peppered with hashtags. It does something to my brain. So, you know, it's much better to put them underneath. If you have a unique house hashtag, as I call it, that's good to use. That could be your company name. So like we use We Are The Joyful, or a short phrase that you use. You know, we use Do It With Love quite a lot, as our little kind of motto, or a campaign slogan. And then when people post about you, when they engage in conversation, they can use it in their hashtags too. When I've done my research into these popular hashtags, I like to just drop them into either a note on my phone or a Google document, so that when I'm uploading or scheduling my social posts, I don't have to keep manually typing out all of the hashtags. I've got them in a document. I can just copy and paste them in. That saves time, and you know it means that you don't forget the kind of hashtags that are giving you the most engagement. You don't want to use exactly the same hashtags in the same order on every single post. Then what can happen is you get shadow banned, which means that you will be prevented from appearing in posts for that hashtag for a particular period of time, because it just looks like you're spamming with exactly the same hashtags over and over again. So keep them varied, keep them relevant, and you should be okay. And then I just wanted to end on some reach and engagement tips. I think this is the last slide. There we go. Reach and engagement tips. So number one, you want to post consistently. That doesn't mean post every day. The algorithm has started to reward a consistent posting schedule over a frequent posting schedule. So it's about having a strategy, having a plan, sticking to it, and showing up. About 50% of your engagements will happen within the first day, and then about 75%, and you'll have got 75% of the total engagement on that post after about 2 days. So, you know, absolutely fine to post 3 days a week. Shouldn't impact your engagement too much. Like I said at the top, be proactive and be social. The social element of the social media gets forgotten so often. but you want to be commenting on popular, relevant accounts using the same hashtags that you use regularly. That means you get noticed for that hashtag, you boost engagement. Sharing other people's content is a really nice thing to do, and then they'll probably end up doing the same for you. Encourage your teams to, and your networks to like, comment, save, and share your posts to their stories. These actions and these engagements are so much more valuable to smaller businesses than just clicking like. So I've just highlighted the kind of buttons on a post here. So the heart is a like, the speech bubble's a comment. This little paper airplane means share the post to your story, which then it just opens up in stories and you can add your text. And then this little icon here is the save button. I use this quite a lot when I've got posts I want to refer back later, creating little collections so I can organize my saved content. And when you save a post, it signals to Instagram that that is really high quality content that you want to revisit. So that's really good for the algorithm if you can prompt people to save your posts to come back to later. Like we've pretty much covered, you want to vary your content. You don't just want to upload static images to the grid. You want to use video, you want to use IGTV, you want to use reels, you want to use stories. It can be really overwhelming, but just going in and experimenting and seeing what works is absolutely the best way. Being curious and having fun with it. And then finally, really think about crafting your captions. So we've already spoken about using popular and relevant hashtags to get found. But another key thing in your captions is in the feed, it gets cut off after these first 3 lines, as you can see on this example. So you really, really want to make sure that your hook is in that first 3 lines to prompt people to hit the more button. And that is probably the fastest tour of Instagram and its features I have ever done. So I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Alice. That was brilliant. I don't know if you have any time for questions.
I reckon we could do one.
Has anyone got any questions? Want to drop them into the comment chat or raise a hand?
I have a question.
Hello.
I know you can edit captions after the fact, after you posted them. Which is there any content that you can edit? Because I know you can't sort of change a photo. Can you change video or change a still that's used in the video?
No, you can't. The only thing you can change after the fact are your captions.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
it's really annoying. You can't edit the thumbnail for a video after you've uploaded it or anything like that. It's quite frustrating. So, that's why it's always really good to think about the thumbnails and stuff as you're uploading in advance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for all of your comments in the chat.
Thanks so much for joining and all your questions. And a big thank you to Alice for such a brilliant session. Thank you so much to Plus Accounting as well for sponsoring this series of sessions.